What's up, guys? Today I'm back with another deck profile on Mermails. I recently went to a mini sort of locals. I guess you could call it the more competitive locals because there are no kids there and there was hardly any people who were playing, who at least didn't know what they were doing. I think there was only one new guy. But yeah, I went X2 over 4 rounds, which I can explain that because you're looking at Mermails and thinking, how can you go X2? I mean, you're playing a really aggressive OTK deck, or you might think that I'm shit. No, it's because I went up against Kozmo and Burning Abyss the first 2 rounds, which, holy shit, was fucking annoying. I managed to hold my own against Burning Abyss, but they were playing Burning Abyss Kaiju, so the Kaijus got over some of my sort of contingency plans when my initial plans fell through. And Kozmo, he opened up the nuts. He was playing Fire King Kozmo, so he opened up the best plays of the deck. Literally ending, I think, with Olivier, something else, and oh, I actually can't remember. He ended up with a big field with just a bunch of stuff on it, which was I couldn't really break it at all because I had bricked a little bit. This deck does brick a bit, but it rarely does. It's annoying that the one times that it did brick were in the times where I was up against something super meta, as opposed to tier 2 kind of meta, I guess. It's questionable about what tier this is in now. Anyway, let's actually get onto the profile itself, because there are a couple of choice picks I don't think I've shown you before. So, yeah. First up, we have the triple Mermail Abyss Teus. I would rather 2, to be honest. If Diva was at 2, If Diva was at 2 and this was at 2, then I'd just be happy because Diva is more important than this. This card could go down and I wouldn't care, to be honest. It may have some pretty artwork, but I wouldn't really care. It's not amazing, and it's the card that bricks the most out of everything. However, I was able to play them out. That's the good thing that came out of it. I was able to play out these, but they still weren't as good as, well, they're not as good as they used to be. Let's just say they're pretty shit. Next up was the 3 Abyss Megalome, which was perfect. I always saw it when I needed it, except for when Teus bricked. But it was never really cloggy. I don't think there was ever a time when I had it in hand I couldn't get off the effect, or at least summon it, because I do play Goons. And then, speaking of stuff to summon off of Gooned, we have Abyss Lead, which again did not brick at all. I am really happy with that, because you can see this in a hand and think, and really get annoyed, but it's, it's excellent. I even got its main effect off once when it didn't even... Blair. I got its main effect off to summon itself and add an Abyss scale to my hand, and that went super plus because I had a bunch of Atlanteans in hand. I don't see... I think that this is amazing, and it's fine at 1. That's really what I'm trying to say. And then for the smaller ones, I only play 3. I play 1 Abyss Pike. Sorry for moving the camera. I'm currently charging my tablet. And then 2 Abyss Gooned, which was perfect. Again, nothing really much to say about that. Then we have the Atlanteans. We have 2 Dragoons. 3 Marksmen for popping, so we've got searching, popping, then more sort of stuff with heavy infantry, which is also a key card to a main combo, which I got off twice, which was amazing. And then we have obviously the three beautiful Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince. It's a great card. It's a great card, and again, it's key. It's a key card. Well, to be honest, whilst I'm sort of just getting ready, this deck loses to back row a lot, which is a shame. And it is a combo deck, so obviously we have very fragile pieces, so Effect Veiler and things destroy this. So I'm going to preface that when sort of saying that this deck is amazing. You do have to watch out for your opponent siding in Effect Veilers. Anyway, we have Fishbowl Launcher for Synchro Plays, which is, I think that's a tech card that I haven't shown off, because it's essentially a water version of Glow Up Bulb, because except for you don't even have to mill for it. You can just put that way. You can, if you have waters on your side of the field, and only waters, which you will, you can just go like this. You can just special summon it from the grave, which means that it's a perfect discard for your Twin Twisters for any of your big Mermails. And then you can get off Synchro Play. It also makes it easier to make Trish, and people forget that Trish is amazing and really good. So I don't think you should discount this card. However, if you don't want to play it, that's fine. But yeah. Anyway, then we have Deep Sea Diva, which is my lovely Turbo Pack Super in Spanish. Great card. Love it. Key card of the deck, to be honest. She creates all of your, like, massive OTK plays, with your Armory Arm play and your just other synchro plays. There's also a card that it works with later. There's also kind of a tech card that, well, you'll see why it's good. Anyway, then we have Speak English today, George. Moulin Glacier, the Elemental Lord, because ending with a field of this Megalo and Armory Arm on the field is insane. So yeah, that's why we play that. Then to the hand traps, we have 2 Veiler, 2 Maxi, and then 1 Gauze, the Emissary of Darkness. This was brilliant. It never really bricked, except for once, when I got 2 Veilers in hand, and I couldn't really do anything about that, except for I actually I had a Teus out on field, and I used an Effect Veiler to sync for a level 8, which I thought was rather funny, because that proceeded to win me a game, which was excellent. Yeah, not really anything to say about that. Then for the spells, we have 2 Instant Fusion and 2 Twin Twisters. Obviously, we can get effects off. Well, we can get Goon's effect off with this, and then this makes it so that you can use Dragoons like 5 times or whatever in a single turn. But yeah, nothing more to say about that. Then we have, for the one-offs, we have Raigeki, 1 for 1, Soul Charge, which sort of acts as a contingency plan, which I had to use twice, I think. So, yeah. Then we have Salvage. Whoops. We have Salvage, Call of the Atlanteans. Now, this is my tech card. I don't know how many people would actually use this, but it came into its own. It was absolutely amazing today. It's essentially a quick play Monster Reborn for level 3 or lower Sea Serpent type monsters, which includes Diva. I used this about 3 times in the day, and holy shit. I can literally say only holy shit. It came out of nowhere for the opponents, and every time they read it, they sort of thought, that's fucking broken. And it was, because it won me my games, except for against BA. That was a shame. Then Abyss scaled the Mizuchi for searching off of a Megalo. And then because I've only got one trap, another Megalo search target is a Sphere, because it can be used to interrupt plays if you've got Atlanteans in hand and your Pike in deck, so it can disrupt your opponent's plays. And then for the extra deck, obviously you got the tokens, trying to spread them out. So, yeah, tokens for obvious reasons, because Gauze and because Scapegoat is becoming popular in some rogue decks, couple of rogue decks, especially in Morphages, so it's there for when my opponent forgets to get some tokens, really. So, obviously, we start off with Norden. There's nothing really to say again about Norden. Tatsunoko, because you can end up with if you end up with like a dead card in hand that you really want to get rid of into the grave, and you have a diva, or if you have a diva and a Neptibus, or a heavy infantry and a launcher, then you can make this and sink from your hand, which is nice. Then we have Armory Arm, sort of just for the OTK play. He can make you literally just beat your opponent to death. You'll at least be 34 with Megalo, so attacking twice for 34 plus the burn damage for destroying a monster kind of almost guarantees an OTK. Then we have Gunganir, because sometimes we do need to pop, and it's useful for if we have a level 7 on field and we want to go into a XYZ play. Then Scarlight, because I actually went into this, which was amazing, because it absolutely destroyed a player. I was up against some Morphages. They had established their field, and then I broke their field by twin twisting their pendulums away, and then I made this and just stopped them from doing. So I burned them for all their damage. Practically all their damage, because I could attack it with this then afterwards, and such is such. Then Trishula, because Trish is Trish. Why wouldn't you play it? You can make it so easily with 2 level 4s and Fishborg. You can actually instant fusion, and if you have launcher and grave whilst you have an instant fusion, then you can Trish. You can Trish that turn, which is great. Then we have, just going to move those along a bit. Then we have the Leo, because it's actually kind of good against Kozmo, because their Dark Destroyers can't target it, and your opponent's Dark Lady can't negate this, because obviously it's a continuous effect. And then Star Eater, because if you have a Tatsunoko on field and a dead Moulin in hand, then you can go into this, and it's kind of good. So then for the XYZ monsters, or Exceed monsters, or whatever, we have a Castell, which I never went into. A 101, which I only went into once because I wanted to get off a Dragoons. Digusto Emerald, to get Dragoons back into the deck, and I actually got it off twice, I think, or once or twice. Dweller, because it's key for your main sort of absolute mash OTK. Then we have Gaius, because Gaius is Gaius. Big Eye, which I never went into at all. I don't think I actually went into Gaius either. But yeah, and then Flare Metal Dragon, which is the one I went into the most, because my opponents were always so close to being killed, that this was just a good option. So that's why I went into it. I think that's it for now. As for side deck, I'm not really going to show you it all, but the only actual relevant card that I saw throughout the entire day when I was siding were my Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors when I was up against BA, which should have won me the game, but such is life, I guess. But yeah, that's all I have for now. I will be recording some gaming stuff later, starting an actual Let's Play of Borderlands 2, which I've talked about for a while, I think, but I'm going to actually start it now. And yeah, I've got a mail day video coming as well, when some stuff in the mail comes, obviously. But yeah, that's all I have time for right now, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'll see you.